And we've been joined by Houston coach Tony Levine. The Cougars are 3-0 overall, 1-0 in the American Athletic Conference. We're in action this past Saturday against Rice. Houston won the game 31-26. This week, Houston is at UTSA at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. That game will be on FSN. And as we mentioned, defensive end Tyus Boswer and wide receiver Deontay Greenberry have been named to the American Weekly Honor Roll. Coach, thanks for joining us on the call. If you could take a minute to tie up the win against Rice and then tell us what you're looking forward to Saturday over at UTSA.
Well, it was another good win for a program, another close game, which I think, at this point of the season, certainly with the makeup of our team, good for us to have close games and come out on top at the end. So it was a great rivalry, one of two really in the nation that has both programs in the same city, the other being USC and UCLA. There was a lot of excitement, a lot of buzz generated throughout the course of last week. And again, I think the culmination of an outstanding back and forth game Saturday. But again, good to come out on the winning end. Preparing for UTSA, it's a program that's been growing the last couple of years. Coach Coker and his staff have done a great job recruiting primarily the state of Texas. They've got, while it's a young program, they've got a veteran group. They were able to redshirt everyone their first year of the program, and they've been working the same schemes offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game for the last 3 or 4 years. So it'll be, a good challenge for us to go on the road. It'll be a great environment there. I know they've got tremendous fan support and a great alumni base there in San Antonio. So it's our complete focus is on this game, and it'll be a great challenge for us.
Questions for Coach Tony Levine, please. Hit *1 on your telephone to join the queue, and then the operator will introduce you. Go ahead with questions, please.
And we'll hear from J.J. Saras with InsideRunnerSports.com.
Hey, Coach, thanks for joining us. You have a position coach on your staff that was under Coach Coker the first year at UTSA, Coach Travis Bush. Can you talk a little bit about some of the things he's kind of helped with your program?
Well, Coach Bush has done a tremendous job since he's been here now. With me going on year number 2, he's a guy that he and I go back to when I was 23, 24 years old at what was then called Southwest Texas State, and he was a young sophomore, junior wide receiver. So I've known him a long time. He, as a player, you could tell how high his football IQ was, being that he was a son of a coach, and you always knew he'd be an outstanding football coach one day. He's our co-offensive coordinator, running back coach, and assistant head coach, and he's a guy I lean on quite heavily in terms of the day-to-day operation of our program, and he's a guy that's going to be a great head coach one day as well. But he's got very, very valuable Texas ties. He's from here. Again, he played in San Marcos, and then he's only ever coached in the state of Texas at Texas State, at TCU, UTSA, and then here at Houston. So he's a very, very valuable member of our program and is doing a fantastic job.
Specifically this week versus UTSA, the Roadrunners run a similar offense to what he ran when he was at UTSA. He was the offensive coordinator at UTSA. Have you guys been able to kind of analyze some of the game film and prepare your defense for some of that offense using some of Coach Bush's experience in that system?
Yes, and today, unfortunately, that question might be a day premature, because today, the way our schedule works is we come in on Sunday, the day after a game, and we meet on the game we just had, and then we kind of put that to rest, and we have a short practice, and then Monday we give our players the day off, and we as coaches are in here for 16, 17 hours, and it's a complete lock-the-door game plan for our upcoming opponent. So, again, I think Coach Bush's knowledge, having coached there, having recruited a number of those players to UTSA, I wouldn't be telling you the truth if I didn't say, I've asked him some questions about the scheme and personnel and philosophy of Coach Coker and his staff and the student athletes in the program. But again, right today, it's game planning all three phases. Any questions we have that he may be able to help us with, we'll ask him. But again, I know, having talked to Coach Bush, he shares my sentiments, thinks the world of Coach Coker and that staff, and knows they've got tremendous student athletes there.
Can you talk a little bit more about Coach Coker and just some of your thoughts on how he's done so far building this UTSA program?
Well, Coach Coker is a guy in the coaching profession that, whether you're coaching in the state of Texas or East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, his reputation, not only as a coach but as a person, is something that's known and appreciated nationally. I mean, just a tremendous man, really very, very highly regarded and respected within the coaching fraternity, if you will. And he's an individual that I've gotten to know just a little bit in terms of seeing him at functions where we've been at in the state of Texas, and then certainly he and I have talked about Coach Bush at times on the phone. I hired a coach here a few months ago, Vernon Hargraves, our linebacker coach, who had worked for him when he was coaching at Miami. So I've gotten to know Coach Coker a little bit, and he's a guy that I look to as somebody in this profession who's been very successful in terms of winning games as a head coach, but also having men work for him and appreciate how he treats them, how he conducts his business, how he runs his program. And again, I can't, as many games as he's won and a national championship, what's more impressive to me is what other people say about him as a person and as a man.
Coach, my final question for you, and you kind of mentioned it in passing in your opening statement, in terms of recruiting, do you feel like this could be a rivalry down the road? There's a game scheduled next year with UTSA and Houston. This is a non-conference game, but do you feel like UTSA versus Houston could be, a rivalry situation down the road?
I think I'm going to answer that yes. I do think it could be, and I think anytime you can schedule non-conference opponents, certainly on our end and on their end, where your fan base is able to get to the game and not have to buy airline tickets and rent cars and get hotel rooms. They can get in their vehicle, drive to the game, see their program play, and even drive home that evening, I think is great for both programs. Certainly we recruit Central Texas and San Antonio, and they definitely come up to Houston and recruit as well. I'm familiar with a number of their players in their program, and I'm sure their coaches are familiar with ours. So I think anytime you have that combination, it can become in a sense a rivalry, and we'd love to continue this as well.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And next we'll move to Phil Dukenborg with the Memphis Commercial Appeal newspaper.
Morning, how are you?
Good, Bill. How are you doing?
Good. I was going to ask you just to assess the play of your freshman quarterback, I guess, who was stepping in for David last weekend.
Bill, we actually, in the game Saturday against Rice, we actually played two freshmen. Are you just asking about John O'Corn?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. John's done a nice job. And again, this is really one thing I'm going to say to you that I don't even know if people appreciate. This is his second year as a starting quarterback. As a junior in high school, he was the backup. So he started 1 year of high school football, his senior year, which was a year ago, and then now he was our backup for the first 2 games. Our starter, who was a junior, David Pyland, was injured against Temple, and then again John started his first collegiate game 2 days ago against Rice. I think what stands out, I think you tend to forget quite quickly when you meet him, that he's a true freshman at 18 years old. He's got tremendous poise. I said this last week. The stages that he's been on so far have not seemed to be too big for him. He's made some freshman mistakes, but he's a competitor. He learns very quickly from his mistakes, and the more reps he gets, the better he's playing. So I think it was an exciting game for us to win Saturday. He threw for almost 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, made some really big-time throws and in crucial situations, and I look for him only to improve with the more he plays.
And what is the condition of David now?
David's still going through our concussion management plan. He's going to meet with some doctors today and through the middle of this week. He feels great right now, and has for about the last 4 or 5 days. But again, we've got to run some more tests and see where he is, and I'll know more toward the middle of the week.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, we thank you for the time this week. Look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Likewise. Thank you.
That is Houston at UTSA. That's a 4 p.m. start on FSN.